Hello everyone, welcome to Nubo Creative Tutorials. Today we have a new Stardust tutorial in our series and I will show you how to create 3D coffee beans logo reveal in Adobe After Effects using Stardust. So create your composition and let's get started. So as you see in my comp here, I have this background here and basically straightforward to create, just solid with a color. And on top of it, I have these vignette using a mask there to create it, and then color correction these. So this is how it was created. And on this comp, I just have the logo here. Basically, the logo I used doesn't have transparency on it, so I just used auto trace to auto trace it. So if you have a PNG logo, you just need to pre-compose it to use it on Stardust here. So on emitter, I'm going to choose here layer, and on layer property, I'm going to assign this logo here, and then emitting once, and let's crank up these to get more particles. So basically it's going to shape the logo here as you see, but there is animation. So we have speed here. So I'm going to put there 50 for now, and on particles, let's give it more life, so 20 seconds, and animations keep going. So on emitter, I'm going to go to speed over life and then presets, and then choose these mid-linear. So we want the animation to start really slow and get on full speed. So we got something like this as you see. And then here, of course, we want to use the bean. So we need to add a model, and then we're going to assign it to this particle, and then change these to models, and then go to model here. And we're going to assign these 3D coffee bean and import material as well. So we're going to get the objects there. So let's create a few lights here first. So we're going to start with ambient lights, 20%, and add another light. So let's add point lights. Let's put there 50% for it. Now let's use the lefts, and let's duplicate these and have these just right here. And first, let's assign texture for these. So here I have this texture. So basically, it's come with the 3D OBJ. So we're going to add it to the comp, and we don't need to see it. So then we're going to assign it to the material node. So on diffuse, we have diffuse texture, and let's assign it. And then here we have texture opacity. So now we can see the texture there. And here we have the color. So let's say we put just 50% of the texture, and here we want to mix it with another color. So we want to choose this color, the coffee color. So here, that's what we want. And we're going to add spotlights as well. So spotlights 50%, and let's position it maybe on the side here, and just small angle. Okay, so now we're going to focus first on the animation, and we're going back later to make the material looks good. So let's create a new camera here, and we have this animating. So we want to animate the camera, so animating the points and position. So at 0 and then around 4 seconds, we want these to zoom in. And as you see, as we zoom in here, we have these particles have the same direction. So what we're going to do here on particle, we're going to rotation properties and orient motion particle. And we're going to have some different orientation here. And here we have the angles, so we're going to randomize these, just randomize values and angle random. So we're going to random that. And here we have speed, so we're going to put very subtle speed on each axis and randomize that as well. So we have some randomization here for the look and the rotation speed. So let's preview and see how this looks like. Okay, so we got something like this, and we need to have more work on this. And as you see, all the particles are close to each other, so we're going to add this turbulence node, and basically the turbulence got this position offset, so we can really control the position of that and distributing all those coffee beans. But here we have the type, so I'm going to choose one side, and we want the distribution to happen on the z-axis, so make sure to select axis z. So to got more depth there, so I'm going to animate these position offset as well. So 0, and we want that to start at 0 as well. And then another keyframe, putting that to 2000. So basically we're going to have something like this. And here we have other properties that are going to make these look different. So on noise frequency, let's put these right here. So on noise frequency, I'm going to put that to 5. And here you can see that it's still close to each other. And on emitter, we have here the size of these emitters. So we're going to put that to 500. And it's going to give us more depth. So let's see from left view what's going on. So if we put that to 100, you can see it's back here, actually just there. You can see this is the depth. And if we put 500, we're going to get more depth here. So that's pretty cool. And so as these animating, we have more particles in the background far away. So let's now focus here on this camera. So maybe here we need to leave that right there, or maybe just find a nice view. So this is getting slow a little bit. And we want the animation for the first camera to be just around 4 seconds. So we can adjust keyframes there, and also for position offset, if we just move that, we can get different look. And going to easy ease the first keyframes, and we want the animation to start at 1 second. So let's preview and see how this looks like. So as you see, these look pretty cool. So, and now let's focus on make these beans looks better. So on this node, we're going to go to roughness, and we're going to assign this texture. Now let's give these around 90 there, and we're going to get some highlights. But first, let's add here or enable the ambient occlusion. So we changed the look a little bit there, and on material node, let's go to BAMP and assign this texture as well. And here we're going to use BAMP and crank up these. If we crank up these to the maximum, you can tell we got some of bumpiness there. So I'm going to keep that very subtle, just around 150 maybe. And of course, we are going to give some reflections, so 50% there, and here we can actually control specular lights there. So let's add more ambience to these, so maybe around 150. Maybe the color I'm going to put a bit lighter. And now I'm going to do a few adjustments to the light. So let's have two views for easy adjustments, and then just reposition each light to get the look you are looking for. And maybe we can adjust a little bit more reflections on the material node, and also add more intensity on different lights for nice looking. And so now we have the first camera setup. So let's see how we can create the second camera. So basically for the second one, let's see, this is going to stop right here at 4 seconds. So I'm going to select the camera and the Stardust and then just split these. And so now we have the second copy of these Stardust. So make sure we're working on the second one. So this is the second one here. And for the second one, I don't need these turbulence here, so I'm going to disable these and just reset this camera animation as well. And so here, what I'm going to do, let's zoom these, and then I'm going to go to emitter and just crank up this size here, something like this. And then I'm going to add transform node, and here I'm going to create a new null object and make it 3D. And on transform, I'm going to assign these null here. So now we can just control these from the null here. And here we need to add animation. So let's add rotation keyframes here. Let's add the beginning of the camera, and then we can add position as well. So maybe this is, let's say, the spot we want to have this close-up look. And then we're just going to animate these. And basically, it have the speed, so maybe it's going to be too fast here. Let's just take a look how this looks with these animation. Just very subtle movement there. Let's preview and see how this looks like. So maybe it's too fast, so on emitter, let's lower these to just 5. And it's going to change the look as well. So maybe these too close. Be something that's a good view here. And maybe here on this null, we're just going to change here this rotation. So let's put here maybe 5 and around 80 degrees just to get different looks there. So maybe here 30. So we have something like this, and for the position, I'm going to have these maybe animating this way, and just change the camera here. Maybe zoom a little bit. Maybe something like this. Let's give these few seconds. And let's preview how this looks like. So as you see, this looks pretty cool. So we're going to add another camera here. So let's just select the Stardust null and the camera and then split them again. And for the third one, we're just going to reassign here the null. So going to assign the new null to have a new control for this. And now we're going to do the same thing, trying to get a nice view. So we're just going to control the camera using the camera tool and also using the new null just to add a few subtle animation on the position or rotation. So it's up to you how you want to animate the camera. And of course here on emitter, we can change the seeds so we can have totally different looks. And of course, after changing the seeds, you may end up doing more camera adjustments, just depending on how the seeds look on the composition. So let's preview and see how this looks like. Okay, so that's look pretty cool. So now let's add a few color correction, and maybe first we're going to add volumetric lights. So let's add a volumetric light node here and create a new spotlight. And let's rename these to V and hit OK. And on these volumetric light, let's make sure we're on the third one. So here I'm going to assign different color, or we can just assign that one we just created, the spotlight. You can see the look we got here, but I'm going to assign their spotlight we created. So we just type V, and then we're going to have two views here and make sure we'll look at these one, and let's have for these a left view, and maybe we're just going to put these just behind everything. So you can already see we got some there, and we give it a nice angle, maybe a bigger one. And maybe 200. And on the volumetric node, we can control these, so maybe this is going to be a little bit lighter. And I'm going to put there 50 on the amount, and that's fine for now. And so we're going to just copy and paste this node for the other ones. So for this one, we're going to copy it, and the same thing for the first one as well. So we have the node here. And then I'm going to create a new adjustment layer, and let's rename these. Let's add it and rename it to look. And then I'm going to apply a volumetric color to this to recolor these. So on creative, I'm going maybe to assign these this one here. We got some very cool looking color, and we can change these, of course. So let's go here and give it some sharpness. So maybe something like that. So it's going to be sharp. And we're going to maybe add faded film, maybe 10, maybe the intensity here, just 90. And let's add a noise and give there maybe 2 and create another one. Let's this first create depth of field for these. And first we're going to create few masks here. So let's create a mask and make these Roto Bezier here. And then I'm going to add a camera lens blur and then just put around 20 on blur radius. And so you can also feather the mask to get a nice look. And now we're going to enable the camera depth of field and adjust the focus distance until we get the nice look we're looking for. And for the first camera, we're going to animate the focus distance. And along with that, we're going to adjust the volumetric lights and the lights until we get the desired look. And then I'm going to add another adjustment layer. So let's rename these relights and just put it before depth of field. And I'm going to add curve and let's go to blue channel and just try to rise here the shadows and just kind of recolor these. And on highlights, going to lower these a little bit and then add levels and then crank these up a little bit. So we can have something like this basically. So let's just slightly change these. And on look, we have basic, so we can have more highlights if we want. And also more contrast. So maybe just a little bit, we don't want it to be too dark. So maybe 5. And on depth of field, we need to make sure repeat edges so we don't have this problem here. So that's it. So let's have another preview here. So as you see, this is how it looks like. Hope you get the idea and find this tutorial very useful for you guys. And if you have any questions, just comment and I will do my best to be responsive. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials coming soon. And thank you for watching.